UDOKA arrived at the palace, along with hundreds of other maidens from different villages. They were greeted by the king's guards, who led them to a large hall, where they were given food, water, and clothes. They were also given instructions on how to behave in the presence of the king, and how to prepare for the contest. They were told that the contest would start the next day, and that they would have to face 4 challenges, one of wit, one of wisdom, one of grace, and one of courage. They were also told that only one of them would become the queen, and that the rest would have to return to their homes. UDOKA listened to the instructions, but she did not care. She only cared for the last challenge, the one that involved hunting the lion. She wondered where the lion was, and how big it was, and how fierce it was. She wondered if it would fight back, or run away, or surrender. UDOKA looked around the hall, and saw the other maidens. They were all beautiful, and some of them were brave, wise, and skilled. But none of them were hunters. None of them had the eyes, the ears, the nose, the hands, or the heart of a hunter. None of them had the spirit, the passion, the fire, or the soul of a hunter. None of them were UDOKA. UDOKA smiled. She knew she had an advantage over the other maidens. She knew she had a chance to win the contest. She knew she had a chance to hunt the lion. And she knew she had a chance to win his heart. The next day, the contest began. The first challenge was one of wit. The king asked each maiden a riddle, and they had to answer it correctly. The riddles were clever and tricky, and some of them were funny. UDOKA answered her riddle correctly, but she did not laugh. She did not care for riddles, or jokes, or games. She only cared for hunting. The second challenge was one of wisdom. The king asked each maiden a proverb, and they had to explain its meaning. The proverbs were wise and deep, and some of them were poetic. UDOKA explained her proverb correctly, but she did not smile. She did not care for proverbs, or poems, or words. She only cared for hunting. The third challenge was one of grace. The king asked each maiden to perform a dance, and they had to impress him with their skill. The dances were graceful and elegant, and some of them were enchanting. UDOKA performed her dance correctly, but she did not blush. She did not care for dances, or songs, or music. She only cared for hunting. The fourth challenge was one of courage. The king asked each maiden to follow him to the forest, where they had to hunt the lion. The forest was dark and wild, and some of it was dangerous. UDOKA followed the king to the forest, and she did not hesitate. She cared for the forest and the animals and the hunt. She cared for the lion. The king led the maidens to a clearing, where he stopped and pointed to a cave. He said that the lion was inside the cave, and that the maiden who could kill it, or capture it, or tame it, would be the winner. He said that the maidens could enter the cave one by one, or in groups, or all at once, as long as they did not interfere with each other. He said that the maidens could take as much time as they needed, as long as they did not give up, or run away, or surrender. He said that the maidens could do anything they wanted, as long as they did not fear the lion, or anger the lion, or love the lion. UDOKA listened to the king, but she did not agree. She did not want to kill the lion, or capture the lion, or tame the lion. She wanted to hunt the lion, and nothing else. She did not want to use any weapon, or tool, or strategy, except her bow and arrows. She did not want to enter the cave with anyone, or in any way, except alone, and quietly, and carefully. She did not want to take any time, or do anything, except face the lion, and challenge the lion, and respect the lion. UDOKA looked at the king, and saw his necklace. It was the same necklace that he had given her, the one that had the lion's head. It sparkled in the sunlight, and UDOKA's eyes narrowed. UDOKA took off her necklace, and threw it to the ground. She said to the king, I do not need your gift, or your token, or your symbol. I do not need your power, or your pride, or your love. I only need your lion, and nothing else. UDOKA took her bow and arrows, and walked to the cave. She entered the cave, and disappeared into the darkness. The king, the guards, and the other maidens watched her go, and waited for her to return. They waited for a long time, but they did not hear any sound, or see any sign, or feel any movement. They wondered if UDOKA would hunt the lion, and win. As UDOKA approached the middle of the cave, she saw the king, and realized the truth. She was surprised, and angry, and amused. She had not expected the king to be the lion, or the lion to be the king. She had not expected the king to be so cunning, or so daring, or so foolish. UDOKA dropped her bow and arrows, and laughed. She said to the king, a very silly man. You have played a very silly game. You have risked your life, and your throne, for a woman you do not know, and a woman you do not understand, and a woman you do not deserve. The king took off his lion's skin, and his lion's head, and his lion's necklace. He was naked, sweaty, and handsome. He smiled, and said to UDOKA, You are a very clever woman, you have played a very clever game, a very brave game, and a very beautiful game. You have shown your skill, and your spirit, and your heart, to a man you do not know, and a man you do not understand, and a man you do not love. UDOKA and the king looked at each other, and felt a strange and powerful attraction. They felt curiosity, respect, and desire. They felt a challenge, a temptation, and a possibility. UDOKA said to the king, You are not a lion, and I am not destined to be a queen. You are a hunter, and I am a hunter. We are hunters, and nothing else. The king said to UDOKA, We are hunters, and nothing else. But we can be more, if we want. We can be friends, partners, and lovers. UDOKA thought about the king's words, and felt a new and unexpected emotion. UDOKA said to the king, We can be anything we want, if we want. But we cannot be anything we are not, or anything we do not need, or anything we do not like. We cannot be a king, a queen, and a ruler. The king nodded, and said to UDOKA, We cannot be anything we are not, but we can be anything we are, or anything we need, or anything we like. We can be friends, partners, and lovers. We can be a hunter, and a hunter, and a hunter. UDOKA smiled, and said to the king, We can be a hunter, and a hunter, and a hunter. And we can be happy, fulfilled, and free. The king smiled, and said to UDOKA, We can be happy, fulfilled, and free. UDOKA and the king embraced, kissed, and made love. They were happy, fulfilled, and free. The next day, UDOKA and the king left the cave, and returned to the clearing. They were greeted by the guards, and the other maidens, and the people. They were cheered, and praised, and honored. The king announced that UDOKA was the winner, and the best, and the only. He asked her to be his wife, his partner, and his equal. UDOKA accepted his offer, and his hand, and his heart. She became his wife, and his partner, and his equal. But she did not become his queen. She did not want to rule, or to be ruled, or to be bound. She wanted to hunt, and to be hunted, and to be free. She asked the king to give up his throne, his crown, and his necklace. She asked him to be a hunter, and nothing else. The king agreed, and gave up his throne, his crown, and his necklace. He became a hunter, and nothing else. They left the palace, and the people, and the land. They went to the forest, and the animals, and the hunt. They hunted together, they were happy, fulfilled, and free. They were hunters, and nothing else. And they lived happily ever after.